Hello everyone. Back in the Premier League, we do play one game a week as we do know, and this time we face the bogey team that is Brighton at Old Trafford. Yes, we have a good home record this season, but Brighton have always been a team that have caused us problems home and away. For some reason, we just never turn up against Brighton, even dating back to the days when Graham Potter was the manager with the likes of Cucurella playing for them at left back, who obviously we know is now at Chelsea. But Brighton have players that can cause us problems. We're not supposed to fear a team like Brighton, especially since we are playing at home. You can talk about an aging Danny Welbeck playing up front for them, a, shall I say, not at his best Carlos Baleba, playing in midfield. And they do certainly have a few defensive issues with them having conceded as many goals as they do. But they've beaten Chelsea, they've beaten Manchester City, and like I said, they are the bogey team for Man United most recently. And they've just beaten Newcastle United, who are flying in the Champions League. And certainly, you have to be concerned as to how Hurzeler, Brighton's manager, is going to come to this game and approach it because they do want to keep possession of the ball. We know this. And the way Hurzeler normally tries to bowl out from the back can be quite devastating if you do tend to press them and they tend to are able to play around and through your press. Now, the game against Liverpool, we saw a different tactic used by Ruben Amorim, where he, as the pundits and the media are going to say, we played long balls, but that wasn't necessarily the tactic. Instead, we went long in order to fight and win the second balls and then play and exploit the spaces that are left behind by a Virgil van Dijk, like we saw for the first goal with Mbumo. And with Brighton, they certainly will want to come and press us. But then again, there is something for Ursula to think about. With us having the option of going long and fighting for long balls, I do think that Brighton won't be as excited or enthusiastic to want to press us. I think they will be wary of the fact that we can go long and we can, dominate in that particular aspect of the game. And we certainly can do well from the second ball, as most notably done so against Liverpool. And Brighton will have noted that. Hurzeler himself and the team will have seen that. And with them beating Newcastle, a team that is in the Champions League, as I said, they certainly will come to Old Trafford with a bit of confidence. But will be wary of the fact that they can press us and we can beat the press by going long. And if they don't press us, we will then dominate on the ball and then provide us with more opportunities in order to create, to score goals. And in a game like this, I do see it, and it has to be a turning point for Manchester United and Ruben Amorim, because too many times we've had good performances, good results against big teams, and then the very next game when we play a team that is not as strong or as good as one of the top teams, then we tend to struggle. We tend to not turn up. We tend to, shall I say, draw, and most of the time we lost those games, most notably last season. And it was quite detrimental to where we finished 15th. But in terms of a turning point, it's good to win Liverpool, our biggest rivals. It's good to have these good performances with good results against the top teams, especially the teams that we will be competing against in terms of fighting for the top four finish to get European football. But it is the moment after that. We need to find consistency. We need to emulate the performance we did against Liverpool and push to get another win. Play with the same intensity, play with the same aggressiveness, and look to create multiple opportunities and be clinical at that, because that is very, very crucial. Too many times we've created chances and we are not clinical. Against Liverpool, you saw the advantage of going early in the lead in the game. It certainly does change the mindset of the opponents, how they approach the game, how their tactics were set up. If it stayed till 0-0 till a certain time in the second half, teams normally do rely on that, especially playing away from home. But this time around, Brighton will be wary of how good we can be going forward. And if you start Benjamin Sesko, for me, he needs to be starting this game. He certainly will be a handful because against Liverpool, we didn't have him. We played with a false nine in Cunha, a bit of a more fluid front three with Mount and Mbumo and Cunha being there. But this time around, Benjamin Sesko can still give us that fluidness, but he provides us a more of a target with him to win the ball in the air, flick it onto the likes of Brighton, who will maybe look to press us high in certain moments, and then Lemens can play it long, or anyone from the defense can play it long to Sesko, and you can flick it onto an Mbumo like we did against Chelsea. This is a certain step into how we can do well against Brighton and look towards getting a proper turning point, getting 3 wins in a row, and making sure that we are starting to look like a team moving forward, that we are progressing, that we are learning, that there is a sense of confidence in the way we are playing and the way we want to create opportunities to score goals. Now, for me in this game, there has to be not too many changes, but we need to be going for it in this game. We can't play defensive like we did against Liverpool, because if we do that, we can try and play on the counter. But again, if we give Brighton the ball, they have the technical ability and the ability in possession in order to penetrate us with 1-2s in and around the box. And of course, finding those penetrative passes that can cause us trouble. So we need to be on it from the very first whistle. But for me in this game, Ruben Amorim needs to be going with Lemens in goal, obviously. Excellent against Liverpool, and in my opinion, was up there with the likes of Harry Maguire and Mbumo for man of the match. So definitely Senna Lemens in goal. Ruben Amorim did say that Harry Maguire and Mason Mount are doubts for this particular game. So it's not entirely guaranteed that they would be in the squad for this particular game, but there are doubts. So therefore you go with Lenny Yoro, De Ligt and Shaw as your back three. Martinez is not fit yet, but is training well according to Ruben Amorim. So he will come in soon to try and fight for his place at left centre back. The left wing back, Dogu, has to come back into the team. Did well when he came on against Liverpool, so I think will return to the starting 11. In midfield, I think Ruben Amorim will continue with Casemiro and Bruno, and then in the second half, most likely bring on Ugarte to replace Casemiro, and like he has done before, putting on Kobe Mainu and taking off Bruno Fernandes off, depending on the situation of the game and of course the scoreline. Ahmad on right wing back, he's got a very, very good link up growing with the likes of Mbumo, so I think must start at right wing back once again like he did against Liverpool. And the front three for me, Cunha, Mbumo and Sesko. I think that is quite obvious, and yes, I know more people would want Mainu to start with playing at home, but I don't see Ruben Amorim going with Bruno and Mainu in midfield. I don't see him going with Mainu and Ugarte in midfield and pushing Bruno higher. I don't think that will be the case. I think this is the team that he will go with, and it is a good enough team in order to pressure Brighton, in order to create opportunities in the first half. And because Harry Maguire isn't fit and Mason Mount is maybe not fit, you bring in a Lenny Yoro, you start Matheus Cunha once again, but this time not as a striker, behind Sesko as a number 10 on the left-hand side to play with Mbumo, Dogu, Bruno, Casemiro, etc. And that in itself would not be too many changes. You can still play the same type of intensity with the same aggressiveness, and we can beat Brighton this time around. We are confident. We just beat the reigning champions, the team that is the team to beat in the league in order to, win the title. And we beat them in their own home ground. So playing at Old Trafford after that energizing and powerful statement win, we certainly must be up for it against Brighton and get that 3rd win in a row. And then there will be a turning point. Then we can start talking about, okay, where are we going from this point onwards now? 3 wins in a row, a certain type of consistency. Can we continue? Can we win against Brighton? Can our next game be a good performance and a win against Nottingham Forest? And then we meet Spurs again and try and take revenge for that Europa League loss in the final that we had last season. We certainly can come into the Spurs game with having won 5 on the bounce, 4 on the bounce. Sorry, that can be done. It all comes down to how we approach the game, similar to the way we did against Liverpool. We can sit back, suck a bit of pressure, and then move forward and try and counter. But we can also dominate on the ball if Brighton decide to sit back in a mid to low block in order to avoid us playing the long ball to Benjamin Sesko, or if Sesko doesn't start, to, nobody up front and then trying to fight and win for the second ball. But you let me know in the comment section what you think about the game. What are your thoughts about the team? And let me know what your score predictions are for this particular game. I want to engage with you in the comments. Thank you for those who continue to support the channel and for those who have subscribed. If you haven't done so, definitely subscribe if you are a Manchester United fan. Share it to your friends and family, and let's get that third win in a row. Have a wonderful weekend till we see each other again soon, Red Devils. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share and subscribe.